let's jump in right there, and because I haven't asked you the $50,000 question, which is,
Okay.
what is behind the curtain? Like you've just hinted at it a little bit there, but what is behind the curtain? What will we find, or what do you know is there? Because you said there's extraterrestrial stuff, but also man-made UFOs. What are they working with?
Well, again, if you over 80 years and countless trillions of dollars, literally, and the most brilliant scientific minds you will ever meet, which by the way are not at Harvard, MIT, and Caltech, they're in a skiff, and they were plucked out of high school and undergrad. The guys I know with IQs, I'm sure north of 200, as high as the scale goes. And when I meet with these men who are these scientists, my God, the technologies they work on. Let me give you a hint. When Ben Rich was dying, he was the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works, the premier secret aerospace engineering outfit. And Jim Goodall, who's on our team, and you'll see him make this statement at our conference before our National Press Club event in June. It's up there for people to see if you want to. And he said he spoke to Mr. Rich about a week before he died, or the week that he passed. And he asked him about this. He said, Jim, out in the desert, he's not talking about Area 51. He specifically said, out in the desert, the Lockheed Skunk Works, anything you can imagine and anything you've seen on Star Trek, we've done. We've done. Now, what is he talking about? Well, he's talking about man-made craft that move very much in a way that people would think was an extraterrestrial vehicle or an ETV. Technologies that can basically violate space-time by bending it. So it's sort of like on a piece of paper where you have an object here and an object here, or a point of space here and here, and you want to go from one point to another. Instead of going in a straight line, you're bending space-time like a piece of paper, so you're here. So it's the ultimate quantum entanglement level of technology. But these began to be studied in very, very well-funded programs in the 40s and 50s. And so they have those sort of technologies. And one of the shocking things, I think, for most of the people in Congress, when I meet with them, I'll throw the footage up you're referring to of, David Fravor chasing this object off the coast of California. I'll say that object, I can prove, is from the Lockheed Skunk Works. It is not of alien origin. And of course, they're all assuming it's from China or another country. I said, no, it's in your backyard. And I've talked to members of Congress. I said, it's in your jurisdiction. It's in your congressional district. But
how can you prove that?
I can prove it by the people who've handled them. I can show them where the entrance to the underground base is. I have a photo of it. We have all of this, and I'm turning all of it over. I mean, I have no use for it. I'm a private citizen who's just researched and collected all this over a 30-year period through just sheer, frankly, stubbornness. But
what reaction do you get from a congressman when you say not only is this American-made with probably U.S. taxpayer money, but this is in your own damn jurisdiction, and you can't even see it, you won't even know it, you probably can't get close to it. What do they say? They must get upset.
They do get upset, and it's I will tell you that when I first started working with all these guys here, they have a type of, I call it disclosure PTSD. It's a traumatic, and people laugh. I said, no, this is for me in the 1990s, it was very traumatic to find out about this was absolutely real, that it was being kept secret, that it was out of control, and that there was a compartmented part of it that were already committing atrocities such as staged fake alien abductions and mutilations. Everybody's heard of these. Everybody assumes they're alien. They are not. We have a testimony from Air Force intelligence officer as well as documents that prove that those are being done by humans for their, quote, psychological warfare value. So the sort of manipulation that some people observed with COVID, put that on steroids. And that's what you're dealing with here. To what end? So I think there are two things. One is that they want to keep the energy technologies away. And this is why we did the Lost Century and how to reclaim it, with an expose of what the world has lost through this illegal secrecy and how we need to regain it. and what the world looks like after that, which is gorgeous, beautiful. A totally transformed planet. If we no longer had to have any polluting sources of energy, the energy itself was free once you had the device, the 0 point generator system, and poverty around the world would vanish in a generation, about 20 years. But there's some big stakeholders, right? Hundreds of trillions of dollars at stake. So this is where you get into a real power struggle, which is what this issue is. The other part of it is that if you look at sort of the lockdowns and global control that happened, that was, can I be blunt? I know for a fact that was a beta test for what they're wanting to do on this issue. And that is to disclose it in such a way that it manipulates the public into fear so that they can then, through sort of a totalitarian militarism and central state authority, control the whole world, not just one country. As Reagan said, he got brainwashed. I know who did it, where he said, wouldn't our job of creating world unity be easier if we had a common alien threat to fight? So this is why they've spent so much time making, bad Hollywood movies and UFO conferences and staging these ridiculous abductions, which are gruesome. And there are terrible victims of those. But they're not being done by extraterrestrial beings. They're being done by what's called stagecraft, using advanced man-made ET-looking craft, but they're not ET, and other technologies, electromagnetic warfare systems, chemical canisters, and what have you. And I've debriefed a number of people who have been both the operators of those systems and the victims. And so this is something that needs to come out, because part of it is that when you look at what this Marine officer, he was a platoon member in Indonesia, and his name is Michael Herrera, and his testimony we now have, and he was at the National Press Club event. He was in Indonesia in 2009, and there was about a 300 feet in diameter man-made UFO, and it was staffed with some very serious deep black operatives. When they stumbled across it on that humanitarian mission after the tsunami and earthquake in 2009 in Indonesia, these men basically said, we're going to have to kill all of you. And it was a miracle that those 6 guys, those young guys, were not killed. But what he saw was not only the craft hovering, but some crates that he initially thought maybe they were running drugs. So they were also running some old arms. They were arms dealing as well using this technology, because you can move at such speeds that you can't even be seen on radar. And this he learned later, because we have someone currently in the system at a very high level who had seen the same thing. And those crates were carrying people. They were trafficking in children and women and some men to be used in human experimentation in these programs. Now, I'm saying this for an absolute fact. I have multiple witnesses to this. We have a third whistleblower that's come forward who was involved in those sort of atrocities. So, this is an out of control group that has got to get reined in. The risk is that they start pushing buttons and pulling levers before that can happen. So on the one hand, we're making great progress. On the other hand, to be blunt, Brian, the time is not writ large on our side.
Right.
Because I met with a man in the 1990s who had been on an interagency committee dealing with this, that he said in 1974, we could have pushed a button and we would have had all these man-made ATs, advanced technologies, that look like UFOs. And to a jet pilot, they do, like Mr. Fravor. Because they are a UFO. They're unidentified to them, not to us. And so we can launch those all over the world, do a few things, and it'll look like we're under alien attack. That has always been the long-term plan. Interestingly, a man named Werner von Braun, who invented the rocket for Adolf Hitler, he and many others were brought into the States under Operation Paperclip, and his spokesperson for the last 5 years of his life, Carol Rosin, is on our team. And on his deathbed, he said, yes, that is the plan. They're going to stage an alien threat. There is no alien threat. We're the problem. There are aliens out there, but they're concerned about our hostility. And he made it very clear that this whole plan was what had already been launched in the 1950s, which is why you began to see, after we mastered gravity control, this is why you began to see all these famous celebrated abduction cases, like Betty and Barney Hill. Mr. Obama's doing a documentary series about that event, but he doesn't know that that was us. He actually thinks that it was aliens.
And Dr.
So it's
Greer,
it's easy to gaslight the president on this, by the way, very easy.
Okay, gotcha, because they're the last to know a lot of this stuff, and they're only there for a temporary amount of time, and everybody knows there's a next one coming. So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.